All right, so we'll go ahead and continue here. So barriers to growth. Three ones I really want to list, especially with the adolescent population, youth athletes. Number one will be physical exhaustion, psychological exhaustion, as well as limitations or limited social support. Again, if you look at the physical exhaustion, the psychological exhaustion combined, in that previous kind of textbook definition, that's kind of the syndrome that is oftentimes associated with athlete burnout. But I do also want to incorporate that psychosocial dynamic as well, and how limited social support can kind of be a barrier for growth or fulfillment or continued participation within a sport. So I'll go ahead and we'll continue through these. So the four factors I listed, I'll go through them really quickly and then I'll return to slide one here. So I have physical exhaustion, psychological exhaustion, the next slide here, athlete disposition, and psychosocial. So yeah, go ahead and paste this image here. So we'll go back here. Physical exhaustion, some of the four factors associated. There's a high incidence of chronic injury with these athletes, especially when they are playing for a long time. Once more, that definition, we talk about that syndrome that is associated with that physical exhaustion. That's going to come from chronic overuse, which is going to eventually evolve into chronic injury. That overuse is typically the product of overtraining. As I mentioned previously, these athletes are going away from the recreational model and towards a model of there's this professionalism in youth sports now that is starting to continue to grow and expand. And with that, we're seeing that physical exhaustion, increased injury incidence. As I mentioned previously, in my clinical practice, anytime I have an athlete come into my clinic, it's become kind of common for me to ask, are you in a club? And typically without fail, they say, yeah, I'm usually in a club. So we're starting to see that increased injury incidence. And also growth-related injuries. I wanted to focus on youth athletes, particularly because it's the field of work that I'm in. But also there are growth-related injuries that these younger athletes are susceptible to, as opposed to their older counterparts. Once again, we're also looking at growth plate issues, growth plate factors, and things like that can be disrupted due to traumatic injury or overuse. So it's really important to recognize that these athletes are not musculoskeletally mature. So that physical exhaustion, that's kind of a combination of things that eventually lead to that physical exhaustion, that factor that's going to eventually psychologically affect them in the long term. Because as I mentioned before, there is a huge psychological component to injury that is certainly worth being recognized and being talked about. Psychological exhaustion, this usually comes from that highly competitive environment. That contributes to a lot of stress. That competitive environment, usually, as I mentioned before, it's going to be based on an exemplary performance-based value system. Perception of competence was something that was common across all studied when they provided those questionnaires to the athletes. A very common issue was that associated with burnout was it was based on an individual's perception of competence. And they found that it was related to their likelihood to continue with a sport or to stop participation. And again, as I mentioned, that exemplary performance-based value system, which is very hard on these younger athletes. Going into factors 3 and 4, athlete disposition. One of the previous studies had mentioned how we talk about motivational style. It's certainly worth noting extrinsic factors can affect intrinsic disposition or intrinsic factions or intrinsic motivation. But again, that special population, it's not to ignore it, but it is certainly worth recognizing this population is especially vulnerable to criticism and things like that. So motivational style, yes, and that can be based on athlete disposition. That's kind of that nurture versus nature approach in which personalities are more susceptible to burnout than others based on a very highly competitive environment. Adherence, behavior adherence. If an athlete likes a sport, how likely are they, of course, to keep with it? But also perfectionism. Perfectionism can be based as manifested as a means of sustaining oneself, but there's a psychosocial component to that as well. So with athlete disposition, it's not completely nurture or completely nature, but it's kind of the combination of the two that's going to eventually give you that athletic disposition over time. And then also psychosocial. So we're talking about team cohesion. One of the things that was mentioned in one of the previous studies was that athletes who participate in team sports experience more physical exhaustion than athletes that are in solo sports. So that can be due from psychosocial stress. That can be psychological exhaustion. It can be physical exhaustion as well. There's a lot more dependency or I guess I should say your peers or your teammates are much more dependent on you. So there's kind of that driving force that's going to keep athletes wanting to perform at a high level, and that stress and that pressure that comes with not letting their teammates down. Athlete to coach relationship is something that came up time and time again through all of those studies. How an athlete felt in relationship to their coaches did have an impact on their overall psychological well-being. And with that, the stress that was associated with their continued player involvement in a team or a sport. One thing that I'll go into a little bit later is that athlete and parent relationship. That is incredibly, incredibly important. Is that social support? What's that dynamic like for that social dynamic like for that athlete at home? And again, just generally speaking, availability of social support for these young athletes. So that's that nature versus nurture kind of concept that Gustafsson et al. 2013 was talking about. They talked about general disposition and personality and how it does play a big role in sustained participation, particularly in settings that are very, very competitive. They also identified hope as having the biggest impact on personal fulfillment, and hope as being a really a strong driving force. And so if athletes are able to essentially keep their eye on the prize, and they're able to, as long as again, it's dependent, as long as they're able to make those incremental personal performance advances, they're more likely to feel fulfilled. And of course, most importantly, it's going to be cultivating a positive disposition towards sport involvement. Is that interaction between the young athletes and the coaching staff, is it appropriate? Is it supportive? Is it positive? As that can have an athlete, when we're looking at long term, when these athletes mature into becoming adults, we're looking at their relationship with exercise. Previously mentioned in our textbook, it talks about exercise and punishment. And that's often something that coaching staff do as a means to kind of hold athletes accountable, is exercise is used as a means of punishment. So cultivating that positive disposition towards sports, cultivating a positive relationship with sports, because that can have long-term implications, especially if exercise is being used as a form of punishment for these athletes. Overman 2014 published a text that actually spoke to this, especially with regards to parents and their involvement in sports, and that as far as that kind of psychosocial component, those psychosocial factors affecting sports performance and burnout. And it kind of touched on the negative impacts that adults are having on youth sports, whether it be from a personal, familial relationship, or from the coaching staff, or even higher up organizations. As parents, it's important that parents understand their role is that of being kind of a supportive role within that community of athletic participation. And again, we talk about the susceptibility of younger athletes as they're much more vulnerable and susceptible to criticism. And again, they are much more likely to be dependent and derive their motivation. Oops, sorry, I guess I've lost the lights here. To derive their, excuse me. There we go. We're on a timer here. To derive their motivation from adult figures. And so it's really important that they recognize that, and that they maintain, the utmost highest standard of sideline behavior and things like that. And of course, most importantly, once again, avoiding favoritism. It's very, very difficult to avoid in a competitive setting. Sports, the very nature of sports are competitive. You have teams, first team, second team, third team. And as we go more towards this professional model of youth sports, I do believe we are going to see a higher incidence of athlete burnout, because it's a performance-based kind of currency. Kind of a performance-based system where the good athletes are going to play, and the athletes that may not demonstrate exemplary performance are not going to play, and they're not going to have the opportunity. And so with that, they're going to start to lose that positive relationship with that sport. And once again, that comes back to the athlete-coach relationship. Are those athletes being allotted opportunities as their peers? My personal mission statement, honestly, when I think about this, as I, as a healthcare provider, have chosen my profession is to serve others, and as a means of serving others, it's through physical and emotional as well as spiritual support. Especially with the text, it spoke to me a lot when it spoke about exercise adherence, as far as a personal recovery, and being able to speak to people on a spiritual level, not just through objective clinical terms, but also using spiritual support as a means to drive and motivate people and to help people and to serve them. So for me personally, I want to be able to serve others through that physical support, emotional support, but also the spiritual component largely as well. So I can speak to others through kind of a spiritual sense of meaning or belonging. Um, Lastly, let's see, I have the power of social support here. I wanted to also touch on social influence is incredibly important, especially when we talk about sustainability within a sport and participation. Everyone wants to feel like they have a sense of belonging in a community. And I think that's very, very hard to foster and cultivate in a highly competitive environment. So I do look to the coaches as being able to provide that kind of equal opportunities for all their players to develop themselves. And most importantly, one thing I've learned especially is we're a product of our environment. Absolutely, we're a product of our environment. Our dispositions towards certain things like sports participation are going to be based on our experiences. And so that there is a variety of ways to achieve a common goal. There's a multitude of ways to approach something. So if you don't have athletes that are maybe demonstrating exemplary physical performance, there are still ways to kind of foster these athletes and develop them. Um, again, it's important to remember that this is youth participation. This is not the professional level, and my biggest concern with most of this, as I mentioned, is the professionalism of youth sports. As I said, we're going to see a greater increased incidence, I believe, of athlete burnout. It's going to be that psychological burnout, that physical burnout, and again, it comes from issues. The physical component, when we talk about athlete burnout, again, the physical component is going to be from musculoskeletal immaturity. And I think what makes them, I think that Achilles heel for this population is that they derive their intrinsic motivation, I should say, through extrinsic motivation. They are going to be heavily reliant and dependent on adult figures and their relationships with those adult figures and those mentors to drive themselves. As they develop their emotional maturity, and their emotional intelligence, they can derive that intrinsic motivation. But it's important to remember that the population that we're working with, it's with great honor that we're able to work with these younger athletes and develop them. And so it's a great responsibility, and I think it's really important to touch on. These are going to be my references. These are kind of the references I listed and the studies. And that will conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.